We are thrilled to introduce author and writer Camari Hawkins, who will share her inspiring journey and insights.
Every morning, I journal. Old school, hand to paper journal. Any journalers out in just me? Oh, okay, yes, there's a couple of us out there. One particular morning, I sat next to a big window and I kept getting distracted by the sound of bugs hitting the window. Like tap, 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 tap. And these bugs, from wasps to beetles and all else in between, were desperate to get in. So much so that they were banging their tiny exoskeletons against this massive glass window. And I thought to myself, well, that must hurt. Why won't they stop? And we all know that if a bug gets into a house, their days are numbered. Either they will starve or get whacked. And since I'm not a bug lover, sorry, I wouldn't have plans on catching and releasing. I thought, wow, how silly for a bug with the gift of flight, who has the ability to fly anywhere, wherever it wants, as far as the eye can see, yet it is clawing to get inside this tiny space. Because it sees it. It thinks it wants it, but does it? Many times in our lives, we will have access to see something we want. There are times when we go down a path, bang our heads on the window, and that would be our sign to not go that way. There are other times when we must break through to the other side. Usually, though, when we are breaking through, there will be a crack at some point, a loosening, a sign that will let you know that you should keep going and not let up. However, when we are denied certain opportunities, it's not because we didn't deserve it, weren't worthy, didn't work hard enough. There are times when denial is safety, and it's supposed to signify to us that it's time to go into a different direction. After graduating high school, I wasn't quite sure what career path I wanted to try. I was encouraged to be an attorney, so I went to college and studied political science, and it was the most challenging thing for me. I didn't make the best grades, and to be honest with you, I hated every second of it, every second. And I kept banging my head on that window because I am the type to finish what I start. So I graduated college and decided to take the LSAT a couple of times, and my scores were awful. They were so bad that those numbers have eliminated themselves from my brain. And if that wasn't enough banging on the window, I went to work at a law firm as a legal assistant, thinking that if I surround myself in that environment, I would just grow to love it, right? Looking back, I was banging my head on a window that wasn't made for me, and that is okay. But if I would have looked closely, I would have saw that I've always had interest in writing. I kept a journal since I was 7 years old, and I still have them all. My favorite classes were creative writing. I've written 2 books, penned a poem a day in 2023, wrote hundreds of poems, shared poetry on countless stages, completed a novel, worked at a publishing company, and now I own my own, Mama's Kitchen Press. Thank you. Wow. I started the press in 2021, and we have 3 full-length poetry collections released, 8 high school writer chapbooks, 2 anthologies, and 2 more full-length poetry collections forthcoming in 2025. That is the window that is opened up for me and led to a vibrant world. And that world hasn't gotten smaller, but it has expanded wider and wider for me. So as you navigate this literary world, don't let the hard times and denial get you down. Keep trying your wings and fly boldly into the vibrant world that is calling for you. And for the writers in the room, I want to leave you with my poem entitled, Spill Your Ink. We act like we have another life lined up after this one. As if we are toys on a conveyor belt, we play with our life. As if we get to waste this one and redo after we pass on. I don't know who told you there will be pens and notebooks and Google Docs on the other side of life, but you don't know that. So today, spill your ink. Silence the doubting voice in your head. Ain't nothing but lies anyway, and you can't write a liar when paper wants your truth and a blank document wants your heart. So write today, like another life isn't coming, like this life is the one you're supposed to write in. Write like it's your lifeline. Write like it's your fuel. Write like someone is waiting on you, because they are. I am. Write like God sent you. Write like angels got your back. Write like the page is hungry for your words, and without them it will starve. Write like you've got something to leave behind, something to outlive you. And don't worry about the length. Write what you can. Write on the toilet, in your voice memo, text a friend, write on a napkin, write like you've got an itch, and the only relief there is to write. Write like you're on fire, and the ink is your water. Write like you ain't got no excuses, because there are none. Write a poetic email. Write a letter to your grandmother. Write one word a day until you have a haiku. Write until you become one with the pen, until there is no line between where you begin and where it ends. Write until you become walking poetry, until you become poetry, until you become. Thank you.